Thank you.
Good evening. I call the Prince William-Manassas Regional Jail Board meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Mr. Austin is not here. Reverend Bailey is not here. Ms. Clymer?
Present.
Ms. Guzman?
Present.
Mr. Kostelecki?
Present.
Sheriff Hill?
Here.
Captain Lawler?
Here.
Ms. Lennox? Here. Chief Newsham?
Here.
Ms. Smith is not here. And Mr. Torres?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, thank you. The meeting is on YouTube tonight, so I want to make sure that everyone knows that. Okay. So did you receive any public comments?
I did receive comments. I sent them to the jail board yesterday. So they were written comments.
Okay.
I do have extra copies if anyone needs them.
All right, good, good, good. All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda from our tonight's meeting?
Second.
So move.
So moved. All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Could I get a motion to approve the minutes of our regular meeting that was held on January 15th, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. We had a special meeting.
I have to abstain. I wasn't there.
We had a special meeting on February the 13th, and that meeting was a special meeting to appoint our superintendent. Could I get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you so much.
Abstain.
Thank you. Superintendent, welcome. This is your first meeting.
Yes, sir.
And we're delighted to have you, and we're anxious to hear what the report that you have for us tonight.
Perfect, perfect. I definitely want to say thank you to everyone, just to have faith in me. I'm real passionate about this public safety and the work that I do, and I'm taking a lot of this very seriously in terms of starting some initiative to try to move forward to make this agency one of the best in Virginia. So you want me to start with my report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can turn to page 19. Operational capacity was 871. Our management capacity is 1320. We move down to the middle of the page. Our average daily population for 8 months was 552. Our average daily population for the past 12 months has been 548. We move to the bottom of the page, transfer to the state system. In January, we had 10. In February, we had 5. Our commitments, January was 522, February was 474. Our releases, January was 540, February was 484. Process onlys, January was 47, February was 67. If you move to page 20, the average daily population was 549, and our highest daily population was January 2nd, it was 563. On page 21, for the month of February, 532 was the average, and the highest ADP was 543 on February the 3rd. If you move to page 23, objectives. Objective number 1, that the ADC is currently advertising vacancies at the following websites: governmentjobs.com, facebook.com, salary.com, monster.com, indeed.com, linkedin.com, ziprecruiter.com, and handshake.com, and glassdoor.com. For objective number 2, there was 0 PREA substantiated incidents for the month of January and February. For objective number 3, we had 7 staff to complete CIT. We had 13 graduates from the academy. We had CPR first aid trained 199 staff that completed that. For objective number 4, lobby renovation project is still going on. We had to go out to bid for that again. We was trying to have contractors work the overnight shift, but it was difficult to find a person to bid in it. So we're gonna open it back up where contractors can come in and work from 4 to 12. And after talking to Captain Harmon, she feels that it's several people might put in for that bid. Objective number 5, we have gave 849 boxes of Narcan since October of 21. Currently, we have 82 inmates on our MAP program, which is doing really well. If you go on to page 25. This is the ADP for the last 24 months. For the quarter, our average daily population was 552. And if you go to page 26, our highest count for the quarter was 559. The central building, our high count was 452, but it recently dropped to 357 because we opened up the main building in October of 24. And the high count for the main building currently is 163. Work release for the quarter, the average count was 9. The modular building is still closed. If you go to page 27, these are the transfers to DOC. So November we had 10, December we had 11, January we had 10, and February we had 5. On page 29, the average number of commitments for the fiscal year was 552, and the average on page 30, the average ADP was 552. We have a Jail Basic Academy graduation on April the 4th at 11 a.m. Of course, everyone is invited. Please, you can send an email to Ms. Ashley to let her know you want to attend. On January 21st, Supervisor Bailey was here, gave us accommodation for our programs that we have in the jail. She looked at our reentry services, our drug programs, just the overall programs that she has. She was really impressed by the services that we provide. She came in a tour 4 or 5 weeks prior to that, and then she came back and gave us accommodation. I have met with the 2 majors and Jamie Click. We have met with all the board members over the last couple of weeks, just having a conversation about our budget, our salary, so we can stay competitive. And we offered a tour for each and every one to come into the jail to just to see the work that the folks here do. A lot of times they just don't, we're behind the scenes and people just don't know the good work that we do sometimes. So we have some tours set up for some of the board members to come in here in the next couple of weeks. Actually, Mr. Weir's coming tomorrow at 11 a.m. I have had a brief conversation with Mr. Shorter. We have a meeting on the 31st just to talk about some of the same topics that we talked about, budget, salary, just staying competitive and different things like that, making sure that we have the appropriate resources to make sure the staff is successful with doing their job. Since being the new superintendent, I was able to create a couple of new committees. One of the committees is a staff and wellness and morale. It's about 7 members in that committee, and we're looking at avenues where we can increase staff wellness either in service or training or having that resource available when that person needs it. And then find avenues, because this, working in the jail sometimes is a stressful environment. So find avenues where some of the morale can be increased, because we short of staff and we struggle with that. So whatever they come up with, we're gonna come up with ideas. Jamie Clicker's on that team in case we have some financial impacts with that. But they're doing really good work so far. We also established a recruitment team. When I went out and when I done some recruiting back in the day, I went to different places that you normally wouldn't set up, and Right now, that team has been out several places this past week, and we have about 40+ applications in the process, so we're doing really good work with that. So my goal is to, I set the bar high for myself to have 30 vacancies by August 1st. So I had to give myself a goal, and we out there each and every week trying to find new staff. We started a SWOT analysis last week on with the agency, and we focusing on recruitment, retention, and morale. So we didn't want to do the whole entire agency, but that's one post that we feel that we struggle in, so that's what we're looking to do. Lastly, the ADC has finished third place in the Manassas City Christmas parade. They went down there and got some type of plaque and award for doing that. So you would definitely see the ADC more visible as soon as we get some more staff. Letting the citizens know the good work that we do here when their loved one comes to jail, that they have opportunity to get mental health services, to get drug treatment services, that, you know, we can get them a little better off, that when they leave the jail. So that's my vision, and some of the initiatives that I'm going to try to apply as we move forward. And lastly, Captain Powell, he's a 34-year vet. He's retiring on May the 1st. I never had an opportunity to work with Captain Powell until he became a captain, and I tell you, he is one solid individual. Learned a lot from him. Has tons of experience, and he definitely will be missed. And I definitely wish him well. His wife just retired in January, so he's retiring now. So we definitely going to miss him. That's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you, Superintendent. I do have one question for you. How many vacancies do we have now?
I believe it's close to 77 or 78 with the civilians and the sworn. Is that correct, Rachel? Is that-
Yeah.
It's not 70.
Yeah, we have about 70 sworn, and then we've got some civilians that are starting here soon, so some of those, but it's probably about 70.
First, so it's 84.
Thank you. Any question for the superintendent?
Yeah, I have two questions on the same subject. The first one is, are you going to participate in the Human Resources Expo that they're having on April 12th? They do that once or twice a year, and they actually hire a lot of people on those expos. I think that they hired like 48 persons the last one.
And that's
It's going to be at the
county
Hilton.
sponsored?
Yes, and it's going to be at the Hilton Performing Arts Center.
Okay.
Check on that, because that's a great place to set up a table with your people, and on the spot you can do,
What day was that again? April?
I think it's April 12th.
We're already in that. Yep,
Okay.
yep, no worries.
Yeah,
We are.
you might.
We've
I'm
been
just
in touch
trying
with
to make sure that you are.
Oh, thank you.
And the second thing is, there's a new committee of the Board of Supervisors that will meet in a few days, March
Tuesday.
25th.
Mhm.
And one of the things that they're going to be talking about is vacancies,
Yes.
particularly vacancies that have been there for more than 271 days.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to make sure that,
Yes, we've already been in touch with some questions on some of our vacancies.
Yeah.
For
perfect.
sure.
So those are my only two.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they wanted, so the Chris Shorter want all the departments here there, so I will be there trying to advocate for our staff. This is a public safety agency, so we need all our positions best as possible. We pay a lot of money in overtime every 2 weeks, so that shows that we need the staff. Staff need to be off work. They need to be away, home with their families sometimes. It's a stressful environment, so we need those positions as much as possible to make sure that we can just be competitive and make sure staff want to stay with us and not get burnt out. So that's some of the messages that I would try to have with the board members.
And sometimes actually there is reasons that justify having vacancies for long periods of time, particularly if they're difficult to hire
Yes.
for those certain positions. So
And several of ours are. So our nursing staff is one of those categories
That's
as well
correct.
as the jail officer. And we communicated, I mean, it's about a page long of all the recruiting efforts over the last 900 days or whatever. Some of those have been outstanding. But our problem is really a post-COVID era problem. So if you look back at our data, our staffing fell off in 2021. So we saw a lot of retirements, a lot of people leave during COVID, and then we just couldn't bring them back in. We have had a struggle bringing them back in, and keeping pace with the people that are leaving for other jurisdictions because of the lack of competitive pay. So our problem, even though it's a lengthy problem, it's still confined to post-COVID. So you know, it's the nature of the industry to some extent as well, and what's transpired in the last 4 or 5 years just in the market. So
Make sure that they don't take any more away from you.
I'm gonna try my
they took
best.
38 from us in 23, so there's not many more left they can take. So we'll see.
Any other questions for the superintendent concerning his report? Well, thank you, Superintendent. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we go any further, I just want to recognize our visitors that we have tonight with us. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And let the record show Mr. Reverend Bailey. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Bailey. All right. Ms. Cook, how about the budget update?
Ready for the budget update?
Yes.
Alrighty. So if you want to flip to page 44, I'll give you the summary. So this is as of February 28th, so for the first 8 months in the fiscal year 2025. Revenues are projected to still remain on target and slightly to exceed the revenue targets for the year because of the lower budgeted state compensation board revenue. We have right-sized that in the FY26 budget cycle, which I'll hit on in a minute. But for this year, because our budget was a little bit lower, we will come in ahead of that in our actuals this year, if all continues the way it is. City of Manassas has come in at a year-to-date utilization rate of 10.6, so we're still in a position where we're looking to provide some of that funding back to them because they are overpaying at the moment based on their usage. And then on the operating expenditure side, our actual spending is still very much at a reasonable pace to fall within budget. We've spent 68.6% of the total budget thus far, and with the 66.7% of the year being elapsed. So we're right on target in our spending pace, and we haven't had any larger or unusual activity really to report this year, which is a good thing. On our ICE or Homeland Security billings for the period in January for the month of December, we had an uptick of 56 days that we billed. That was mainly, it was just 2 inmates, but really the result of just them not picking up one of the inmates very quickly. Typically, they're much quicker on picking up the inmates, and they had some operational challenges that they weren't able to come grab their inmate quick enough. So we were able to bill a significant amount in that month. And then February back on track to the usual, which is for 6 days. That we build them there. Just wanted to provide a little bit more meat on the bone with regards to our FY26 budget and where we stand at this point. The proposed budget that the CXO put forward had our revenues increased for that revenue that I mentioned that this year will come in ahead of budget. So they've right-sized that for FY26. At 1.3 million above where we are today. So we were able to give that funding, that additional funding up this cycle. And that was actually raised up to 2.8 million just this week because the state finally published the 2026 official estimates for revenue. So the budget will reflect that going forward. And that allows us to pay for a significant portion of the salary adjustments that the sworn staff pay study delineated in the CXO's budget, which was the 1.25% market and then the scale adjustments that he proposed of, it depends on the rank, but between 4.47 and 8%. To the scale, which brings our scale mostly aligned with the sheriff's office scale. But just wanted to point out that the reason that we're also having additional conversations is because that will still put us behind the market by 4.46 on average and 9% behind Loudoun after those 2026 budget impacts go through for those jurisdictions. So that is what we are trying to bring to the forefront with the Board of County Supervisors, because the budget is now in their hands. While the scale changes seem very generous, they're just not adequate to get us to market, which is detrimental to our ability to recruit and also retain our staff. So those are the conversations that we're having. The general fund support that we did garner in the proposed budget was just the $268,000 contractual increases that are required. The rest of our budget requests are funded by our fund balance. The bulk of that being a big $3 million HVAC project that we need this coming budget year. And then some ancillary costs for just some equipment upgrades and technology improvements that we have in our facility. Those are self-funded. And so in our budget request as well, we've asked that the board going forward support us a little bit more with some of the things that we want to do for the agency to bring it forward with more general fund support. So we'll see how that all pans out. On the commissary side, the year-to-date output there is about $400,000 that we've paid out in commissary funding to run those operations and programs. Again, we're very fiscally conservative with those funds, and there's been no larger reportable items within SOP 5107 between the $2,500 and $4,000 range to report at this time. Commissary cash balances still lingering right around that $2 million mark. In January fell at just over $2 million at $2,014,000, and February at $2,020,000. And then the inmate trust accounts, the money that we're holding that belongs to our inmates, fell at $83,283 for January, $76,676 for February. Then the only other thing I wanted to bring forward was just an update on the Virginia state budget. The budget's come out of committees and is now back with the amended House and Senate revisions to the budget, and is now back in the hands of the governor, as I'm sure you guys are all aware. Where we landed with the impacts to our agency are that the budget now includes a 3% salary increase for those state-supported positions at those state levels, and a 1.5% bonus to our state-supported employees that will be effective in July. So the language that was originally, I mentioned, introduced in the budget to withhold any of our per diem revenues, should we not comply with some of the ICE enforcement going on, was actually removed by the General Assembly and not advanced back to the governor. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. The governor has until the 24th of this month to make any amendments, redline any specific line items, any changes he wants before it goes back to the General Assembly on April 2nd. So still time.
Any questions for me? Any questions? I do have one for you. The 1.5 bonus, that's the comp board position employees will not get that, but the county will get that money and keep it, correct?
We don't know yet. So we haven't had any of those discussions yet. So I understand that we have to pay that out. However, we have to pay out the equivalent dollars of that. So we fund, those positions are funded at a state salary band.
Right.
That amount, the calculation, so if you take 1.5% of whatever one of the salaries is, we have to pay that out in a form of a bonus. Not 1.5% of our salaries that the county has on the scale.
Right.
So it is the nominal amount is very different, but it's my understanding you do have to advance that into to the employees. Yes. But we'll discuss how that works and be discussing that with the county.
Any new money for per diem for
Nope, no changes to per diem. Nope.
Thank you. Any
Sure.
questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, follow-up question on your question. So the 1.5% that is
Mhm.
with the state-funded positions, that money will come from the state, though,
Yes, it
right?
will. Yes,
So
but at
the
the, yes.
responsibility will
And then
be
we
for
have
the
to pass it
match
on.
for
Yes.
the county employees. The state fund-
Possibly, they don't have to,
They
so the
don't have
county
to,
doesn't
that's
have
true.
to, right? So, yeah, and not all of our positions, so you can see it's a messy situation, because we only have 270 of our positions that are state supported, and the rest of them are not. So, how do you give it to one jail officer that's on the payroll of the state and not another? So we'll have to have some conversations, and I have some ideas on what we can probably do, but, we have to get some county support behind that as well.
One more question, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman.
ma'am.
Retirement system, are the employees part of VRS?
Yes, yes.
And that is relevant also to the vacancies, because
Yes.
we did pass legislation to allow law enforcement officers and teachers to be rehired after they retire.
Yes.
So I was wondering if that could be applicable.
We do have
to-
some, we are able to do that at a part-time level right now, but that does open the window for us to possibly expand on that. We just have a hard time bringing people back, because as you imagine, they're in a ranking system and then they're coming back at a very lower rank. There's a lot of different factors to that, but it does help us broaden that scope a little bit.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No questions concerning our budget? Thank you, ma'am. I'm gonna get Captain Lawler to make this motion for us to give.
Oh,
Captain
I have
Powell.
I have one other thing.
Okay,
Yes,
before you do
absolutely.
that-
That's exactly what I was gonna do. Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna get
That was
Cap-
on my to-do,
get-
but you go right ahead.
I'm gonna get Captain Lawler to read that. Yes?
Whereas Captain Robert Powell will retire on April 30th, 2025 in good standing from the Prince William-Manassas Regional Adult Detention Center after 35 years of exemplary service. And whereas, in honor of his dedicated years of service, and whereas, in accordance with Virginia State Code 59.1-148.3, purchase of handguns of certain officers allows Captain Robert Powell to purchase his duty weapon. Now therefore be it resolved that the Prince William-Manassas Regional Jail Board does hereby approve Captain Robert Powell to purchase his duty weapon.
All right, could I get a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Could you call the roll on that for me, please?
Reverend Bailey?
Yes.
Ms. Clymer?
Yes.
Ms. Eastman?
Yes.
Mr. Kosteleki?
Yes.
Sheriff Hill?
Yes.
Captain Lawler?
Yes.
Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Chief Newsham?
Yes.
Mr. Flores?
Yes.
Thank you so much, thank you. Reverend Bailey, comments?
I have none
All right,
this
thank you,
evening. I know that surprises you.
Yes, it does, yes, it does.
None for me tonight, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Just to explore that possibility, with the cost of living going up in that area, there might be some people interested that could help filling up those vacancies, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you.
Nothing.
Comments?
Nothing today, maybe in the future.
Nothing today, nothing in the future, all right, sir.
No, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
No, sir.
Captain Chief?
I will just say, very impressed with your goal of reducing vacancies by more than half by August. I know it's a stretch goal, but I also hear you talking about recruiting efforts and improving morale, which are both challenging in this environment. So I'm very impressed with those initial goals setting out. People don't realize with an agency, a larger agency like this, one of the battles you fight when you're reducing vacancies is attrition. And I always, my analogy for that is filling up a bathtub when the plug is out. Get the pay corrected, improve morale, I think you'll be able to get very close to that. So I'm impressed.
All right. Well, thank you, Superintendent, for giving us the good information at your first meeting, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Good. I don't have any comments. I need, Ms. Pendak, you put in a resignation for us, but is it possible that we can hang on to you for a little bit longer?
Mr. Chairman, I have discussed with the superintendent, and with county purchasing, and we have some transition time, so it's not yet goodbye.
Well, thank you. Yes, that is, good. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you, staff, for being here. Thank you for what you're doing and supporting our superintendent. Thank you so much. Could I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.